A year back, expert alerted how the UK could person amount of waste management plasticity as China superimposed a ban on waste management imports. In latter year, the UK has hard relied on China to get our undesirable plasticity packing. 3 year back, the UK was export part a millionth tons of plasticity to China and post-Kong, account for nearly couple thirds of all our plasticity shipped overseas. So, it hasn't emerging, partially thanks to some countries take our waste management plasticity instead of, and partially since we are flaming more than of it. In the wake-up of massive social alarm signal on plasticity contamination, we may as well be making less than plasticity waste management, though it's unfeasible to be certainly of the figures. In the 12 months to October 2018, our analyse of environmental agent figures shows how the UK exported a full of 611,000 tonnes of restored plasticity packing to some countries. In the early 12-monthly time, i.e. to October 2017, the UK exported 683,000 tonnes. So how planned out as a fall in supply of 72,000 among 2016 to 17 and 2017 to 2018. It's precise how some countries include imported lot of the plasticity packing previous recycled by China. The reality is we can't be specific of the information which precisely has happened to the deficit. So, wherever down there's waste management plasticity, down there's potential income, since several of it can be lucratively processed. So several nations include geared up their refining seedling to greet our waste management in outdoor weapon. Lot China recyclers excited their operative overseas to gain of inexpensive fluid of plasticity in the area up, later de-exporting it behind to China as processed granule. But not all of it has been welcomed. Several countries consisting Indonesia, Vietnam and Taiwan include hard confined imports since shipments were block ports and the quality assurance of the content creature imported, of all countries, was impoverished. So the sum of plasticity undertaken by China omitted by 94% among 2016 to 17 and 2017 to 18, Malaysia, Turkey, Poland and Indonesia led the package in gobbling up the flaccid. Malaysia imported 105,000 tons in full and was way out in front line. How full was 42,000, 68%, more than in 2017 to 18 compared in the early year. The other largest famous purpose was Turkey, 80,000 tons. Poland is in tertiary location on the league spreadsheet, though it in fact acquired lightly less than UK plasticity in 2017 to 18 rather than it did in 2016 to 17. It's not precise reason. In 4 location is Indonesia, that on in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, is in the top 10 for the number of waste management plastic contaminating the sea. Else way of analysis the information is to grade the numbers in regulation of net growth, i.e. that countries written the largest growth in 2017 to 18 compared in 2016 to 17. On the action, Malaysia and Turkey stay at the top time, Indonesia corset in the top 5. The new entries, substitute Poland and the Netherlands, are Spain and France. Spain written and growth of 14,000 among 2016 to 17 and 2017 to 18, and France was fair over on 9,000. Of year, send content overseas for recirculation doesn't definitely indicate it in fact gets processed. Waste management firms in the reception nation may sieve via the nonsense, get out the economically precious content and burn up or though dumping the otherwise. The waste management production is infamous in several places for its links in penal operation. With China's prohibition, Malaysia has seen a big splash in the sum of plasticity it has acquired of overseas, consisting of the UK. Malaysia is not capable to trial all of the imported waste management. Down there are bounded plasticity waste management factories, says Majeswari Sanggaralingam, who plant for the Consumer Associate of Penang and for Friends of the Land, Malaysia. On to Ms. Sanggaralingam, not just is Malaysia reception more than plasticity rather than it can correctly manage of, several of it is cheap grade that ends up as garbage dump. Down there are as well several swindler recyclers who, she says, burn up plasticity in the outdoor, guideline to ecological damage. The Malaysia by the government has announced more stringent facility on the importing of plasticity and says it wants to stage it out above the following 3-year, but Ms. Sanggaralingam wants an instant direct prohibition. Malaysia is not a price-dumping land and therefore should halt importing plasticity waste management, she says. The UK Plastic Federation, BPF, said it was really concerned on the exportable of impoverished quality assurance plasticity waste management. The president of its recirculation team, Roger Bainham, said all how UK companies should do the really top efforts to provide plasticity goes to esteemed recyclers. This exportable of plasticity waste management is out of the monitoring of the production, and the BPF is especially worried on latter accountable of illicit and scam supply of plasticity packing waste management aimed to Asia via Holland. The BPF as well said it would supporting a world accrediting framework for the waste management exportable segment and how recirculation should be made at household. Environmental Secretariat Michael Gove says the UK must halt away shoring its mud. We requested the UK by the government why it didn't just ban the exportable of waste management plasticity. We were said how time the UK was devoted to recirculation more than at household. Down there is a legal exportable marketplace for plastic, especially for countries how production new means out of processed plasticity waste management. Mr. Gove wants to encourage more than recirculation, but UK firms needing to trial more than waste management in Britain complain about it's difficult to get financing. Down there are really few countries leftward wherever we can cozily exportable to, and the marketplace is declining, warns Simon Ellen, head execution of the UK Recirculation Associate. Human beings don't wish to buy the content, so wherever on land is the all departure to come, he adds. Mr. Ellen is substantially supporting of the by the government's new waste management policy schedule, but says the UK must extend its handling power at a more rapid step. We're nearly at a meltdown spot, except we get a schedule rapidly, he says. Common recirculation figures include stagnated, and several councils are flaming 80% of all residue waste management, consisting recyclable plasticity and document. In the 12 months to March, 50 of 123 councils incinerated more than rather than part the domestic nonsense they gathered, consisting plasticity and document, formal figures newly show. The lowest are in London. Westminster burned 82% of all domestic and recyclable nonsense. Less than rather than part of all domestic waste management, 45.2%, was processed in 2017, a minuscule growth of fair 0.3% on the early year. The UK now seems hardly to achieve the EU enforced goal of 50% recirculation in the following 2 years. The West Shore Waste Management Credibility, that relating Hammersmith and Fulham, Kensington and Chelsea, Lambeth and Wandsworth, incinerated 79% as did Lewisham and Rigg Hamlets. Swamp, Kirklees, Sunderland, Portsmouth and Birmingham councils all incinerated at low 70% of all plasticity, document and domestic nonsense. Down there is a world marketplace for top quality assurance source supply to countries how production means, and the is thing the UK should investigate the will need basic changing of all of us. And how tool regulating conversion, joint production activity, along in individual behavior changing. Ms. Shrewsbury urged her comments at nobody who buys material and throws packing off. How's all of us?